Hello guys and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to present you my Lightsworn Twilightsworn variant of the deck. It's a little bit different. People who know me, people who are subscribed to my channel, if you're not, you might as well. If you're into budget decks and into crazy weird deck building things, then click that subscribe button and stuff. But people who know my channel know that I have a nick for Lightsworns in general. I have made quite the variants with them. It's basically nearly as much as Shadow, but I think Lightsworn is just such a great engine, such a great deck that has a lot of potential. If they would bring out one more card that makes the deck a little bit more consistent, this deck could really pop off. But right now, the big chances are just amazing, I have to admit. They are amazing. And, well, without further ado, let's start in. The deck price will probably be somewhat between like 35, 40, and 80 bucks, because I think the extra deck has a lot of potential. You have a lot of potential to use a lot of expensive cards as well. So you see already saw Yugioh isn't a card that you definitely need, because a lot of the time, even if you get the draw effect off, you draw and then you don't quite know what to do with the cards remaining in your hand, so it's quite a hard decision. Ball load isn't as expensive anymore, but if you want to use Boral Sword, for example, which makes the deck a lot stronger because it's quite easy to make it, and yeah, it OTKs quite well. This deck in general is more of a, like, it's technically go second, but you could go first. It has consistency problems, because if you don't open with Solar Recharge or Charge the Light Brigade, it's quite hard to get your combo started, because this deck kind of needs the milling a little bit. That's why I put Slash Draw in. Since going second, then at least you have some milling, you have some chances. Reasoning as well, a card that I put in the deck just to get your play started, maybe bait in Ash, so you have your Ash for the Solar Recharge, because if they Ash that, you're stuck with like 4 cards in hand, didn't get to mill. Hard. That's hard. For the hand trap in this deck, the only one that I run is Ash Blossom. I think it's at the moment the most effective one, but if you want to run Effect Veiler and cut the price on this one, then you are free to do this. I ran one Judgment Dragon. It's, if you get it off, it can be quite neat. It's somewhat easier to get off once you start going. If you drew it though, you can search it with Minerva. Gonna be kind of hard, to be fair. You can cut it because I feel like it doesn't come up enough. I kind of wanted to try it because there's a lot of people that like Lightsworns with Judgment Dragon, so I kind of want to include it. If you don't want to include it, that's fine. I understand why the card doesn't make super much sense in the deck a lot of the time, because if you don't draw it, then it's just going to be milled. But if you draw it, it can be neat. Black Luster Soldier is a card you could play as well in this variant, but not 100% sure. What I'm playing is Triple Wolf, because this card is basically spammable in this deck. One Gareth. I really like when you get the effect off, but it's not easy to get this effect off. Like, you have to have him on board somehow and then trigger Lightsworn effects that mill. So that means you have to not use him for Curious, for Minerva, and all those other cards. And this can be quite tricky, because if you use your normal summon on him, then you don't have anything else that you can really do. So there's that problem. A card that does that, what he does a little bit different, is in general all the Twilightsworn monsters, because whenever a Lightsworn monster activates its effect, not mills but activates its effect, send the top 2 cards from your deck to graveyard. But I think that's once per turn, not hard once per turn, but how many times will you recycle this card and get this effect off? This can extend your plays to a certain level, but it's not like super good. I have the ratios of the Twilightsworn, 1 Jane, 1 Lila, and double Lumina. You can switch this up. You can play double Jane if you want to, and only 1 Lumina, because you don't banish that much. But since you run the next card, double Diana, you actually have a chance that you banish some cards from your graveyard, Lightsworns. So this kind of works out. Plus, you're on 1 Raikou. It's good spot removal. I mean, it's not non-targeting banish removal. Not too bad. Gets your cards banished. I didn't feel like it was too bad. Added another name of Lightsworns to the deck. So it's okay. It's not great, but it's doable. You know, it's okay. Double Raiden, you could go for 1, but I feel like double Raiden was okay. If you want to only play 1 Raiden and play Reinforcement of the Army, I did not include Reinforcement, because I felt like you want to have names in your deck rather than Reinforcement when you mill things. And yeah, when you search stuff, then kind of want to make sure. But if you want to, you can include Reinforcement, so you can search Gareth, you can search Raiden, you can search Jane. It's no card that's really important, so I felt like rather playing 2 than Reinforcement, but yeah, that's obviously up to you. 1 Lila, it's somewhat good spell trap card removal of like field spells and stuff. I mean, it's at least a quick effect, so can help you with the removal of field spells and continuous spell trap cards. Other than that, yeah, you know it. It's I think the Lightsworn counter variant of it like is a little bit better than the Twilight one, but the effect of sending 3 cards off your top of your deck when a Lightsworn monster activates the effect, being a level 4 as well, is kind of neat. The Perform H engine with 1 Hat Tricker, 1 Trick Clown, and 1 Damage Juggler. You could technically play like double Hat Tricker, maybe even double Damage Juggler, but I don't see why I would play double Damage Juggler, but double Hat Tricker wouldn't hurt the deck. So if you want to maybe cut a Raiden in total, then 1 Hat Tricker more didn't hurt the deck. Felis, I run her at 2, usually run her at 3. Problem is that she's only been triggered by monster effect. With the Twilight engine, you kind of have more of those, so technically you could put one more in. Like, let's say you remove one of the Luminas and put one of the Felis in, and you're fine as well. That is not a big problem. I ran the ratios a little bit higher at one point because I wanted to play a Lure of Darkness, but it didn't work out as well as I hoped because I wanted to draw into my win conditions, which, yeah, kind of short of Dark Monsters still, and the Twilightsworns don't do much on their own. One Edge and Sabers, basically it's a way for you to go into Dante. It's a way to put a card back on top of your deck and then mill it, Wolf for example, from your hand. So those kind of things are always good. If you especially can go into Dante, then that's good. Another monster from your graveyard on board, because you will have a lot of cards in your hand that you're not going to use or be able to use. So this is fine. Lumina can help once you banish a card with Diana or with one of the other Twilightsworns for any reason, however you got them on board, then this card can be super neat. You can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard if a Lightsworn monster activates, which is good because you can basically chain those 2 together. Like if you get this card back somehow and then activate the effect of this card, then they trigger each other, which can be quite a good mill. So I like this engine. Double Lumina, you can loop her with like some Link monsters, which can be quite strong, so you want to at least play 2. Helps you to go into Dante, helps you to go into Black Rose Dragon, get stuff like Felis from the graveyard, so you can pop some cards on the field. All in all, pretty good. I like Minerva. Technically, you can normal summon her. Technically, you can cut her to 1. I like the fact that when she gets milled, you mill another card, so you cycle through your deck a little bit quicker. It's a tuner monster, so technically, if you revive her with Lumina, you could go for some synchro plays there. Level 3 tuner helps sometimes. Also, it's another way for you to go into Dante. That's why I play her at 2, because if you mill her, revive her with Lumina or that Lumina, you have enough for Dante milling 3 more cards. Plus, Dante can be helpful for going into Curious as well, which, I mean, it's Warrior, so you already have some of those in the deck, but still with Beast Warrior and Lumina and 1 Dante or something on the field, or maybe a Trick Clown, then you still have the 3 different attributes, and that is all fine. Ash Blossom for the disruption if you go in second, which you mainly kind of want to, but it's not super good because you can't break boards that easily and you're shut down quite easily. So we'll see how the format goes. This could be a format where it comes a little bit more handy because maybe the format is a little bit slower if you're not playing against Thunder Dragons, because then you're screwed. The 1 Raikou, 1 Glow Up Bulb is quite neat. It's more for link plays actually and more milling in this deck so far, because there's not many monsters you can go into. It supports going into Scarlight because you have maybe gone into something else before you maybe have cards on board. It would help you if you want to play Trishula. This card is actually pretty neat because that kind of enables Trishula a little bit. But other than that, you could cut it if you don't want it in your deck. There's a card where it basically does the same Jet Synchron. You have to like dump a card to the graveyard. It's okay. Those cards get way better if you actually want to go for the IP mechanic in the deck, playing out with World Legacy Succession, maybe once or even twice, but this would make the deck unnecessarily expensive. But getting a level 5 Synchro out is not too hard in this deck. Sadly, there are not many good level 5 Synchros, so didn't include one in the deck. You can play this deck a little bit more synchro focused if you don't want to go for the rank 4s, but I felt like the rank 4s a lot of the time were a lot better than any of the level 8s. You could make this a go first kind of variant, play FA Dawn Dragster, play Boreal Savage Dragon, but it's not consistent enough, and if you get hand trapped, you're probably not going to build a board. What you want to do is like 2 disruptions, maybe with like a Abyss Dweller and 1 Borload or 1 FA Dawn Dragster, and hope this is going to save you to the next turn. But even then, you're not having super many follow-up plays, so going second is actually a little bit more beneficial. All the draw cards, obviously, that's pretty good. One March of Darkness, it can help you quite neatly to recycle one card from your graveyard. It's one that you just need in hand. For example, if you went for Yugioh and you can still special summon one, then that can be nice. Plus, doing that banishment milling could possibly, potentially make your Twilightsworns a little bit life, especially your Lumina. But since it's a once per turn, I think they shouldn't have made it a hard once per turn. They should have probably made it like Charge of the Light Brigade. Then this card would have probably seen more play and would probably be a little bit more useful. But since you can only activate it once per turn, if you draw multiple of them and you didn't get to mill, then yeah, I don't know. One card that I find especially useful in the Twilightsworn variant is Selective Reborn, because at one point you have milled that much, you don't really care what you summon. You just want a monster on board that is possibly level 4, possibly tuner, whatsoever, and the rest is irrelevant. Plus, they get to keep their effects, and you kind of profit off the banishment effect technically as well. So that is a card that I felt like worked quite well in this deck. One reasoning, you run mainly level 4 monsters, but even then, if you're lucky and hit maybe a wolf, and possibly you get that summon off, and if they get level 4 and you hit one of the Luminas, that can be quite neat as well. Slash Draw, I think it's a very good card to go second for mill decks, because you can decide what you want to cycle back into your deck from the cards in your graveyard already. You can draw a card. This card doesn't hurt you too much because you will have bricks in your hand, trust me. And yeah, the 2000 damage thing isn't possible anymore, but I like to play the card without this as well. Kind of sad that you don't have multiple of those. I would actually play 3 if I could. Wish they would have made this card without the whole FTK kind of potential. So yeah, what are you going to do? But I really like this card, being able to shuffle cards back, being able to mill cards, deciding what you want in your deck. So you could recycle stuff like Damage Juggler or Trick Clown or things that you want to send back, so your Juggler is live again. Foolish Burial, pretty self-explanatory in this deck. Monster Reborn as well, and Charge of the Light Brigade, one of your big playmakers, searching plus milling for cost as well, pretty important, is quite a strong card in this deck. The extra deck, 1 level 8 Synchro, 1 level 7. I don't like the level 7's Lightsworn monster, telling you that now. I don't think it's that much better than Black Rose in any way, so Black Rose it is. Tornado Dragon, Baguska, Storm, double Minerva. You don't have to play double, but I felt like if you ever want to have like more plays the next turn after like follow-up plays, Minerva was the way to go. And I actually a lot of the time felt like I wish I had a second one in the deck, so I feel like that was kind of helpful. Exeter Knight, pretty good card, I guess. Going second. Abyss Dweller, pretty good card in general. Might not want to run it if you're going for a pure go second variant, but Utopia double you can't really play in this deck since the mill factor. Dante for the mill factor. Borload because you can actually put up random numbers of effect monsters on the board quite easily. Same for Yugioh. Different names can be tricky sometimes. You don't have to run this card. There's probably different things you could do. One Curious, it's a neat card. It helps you a lot of the time, but there's decks where this card helps you more because the mills are better. Mainly you want to probably mill Fields if you're going second, but that's just my opinion. Double Nightmares, you could play the Unicorn as well if you want to, but I felt like for a budget deck that was no need. And 1 Beat Cup, so you have 1 generic Link 2 monster that you could use. You could play stuff like Avramax in your extra deck, but it's kind of hard to get off since you don't run that many other Link monsters. If you want to swap 1 Lila in, that is fine as well. And Lure of Darkness I tried, but I felt like didn't really work with the ratios too good. That was my deck profile. Hope you enjoyed it. You see, I am very much into Lightsworns. I have made my mind up about this deck profile so many times. I have so many different variants. I'll probably update my Spiral Lightsworn deck in the future, so stay tuned for this if you're interested in that. And I hope you're having a good day. Like, share, subscribe, do all those things other YouTubers tell you to. I'll be happy, and I hope you have a good day.